Imagine your business not just surviving, but thriving. Your wealth locked in, your opportunities exploding, and your family's future built on a legacy that never fades. I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional. I help entrepreneurs and high-growth enterprises protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth through my proven system, the Wall of Wealth. I unite your experts into one cohesive strategy because the most expensive line on your balance sheet isn't debt or taxes, it's conflicting advice. Ready to align every dollar with your mission and turn today's success into tomorrow's divine promise. Wealth today, dynasty tomorrow.
Happy Wealthy Wednesday, champions. Come on in, come on in. Today is going to be incredible. This is Wealthy Wednesday, one of my favorite days of the week. Although I love Money Monday, I love Tax Tips Tuesday, Wealthy Wednesday is the day today, and it is going to be fire. Listen, we talk about all things wealth here. I believe having true success and true wealth is having wealth and success in all the 7 F's. I call it the 7 F's: in your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your fun. Philanthropic, yes, in the world of Leah, that is an F word, and food, because I'm a foodie and I believe that we should have good, nutritious food. And this is the way I think about it. What good will it do us to build a massive fortune if our family dynamics are out of alignment, are all cattywampus, right? So I want you to be truly wealthy in all the 7 areas of wealth. Today's guest speaker is going to definitely bring a ton of value today. Listen, I'm curious, how many of you, because most of you are probably joining us from LinkedIn, how many of you have felt like recently LinkedIn has changed a little bit? Maybe what was working in the past doesn't seem to quite be working right now. And if that's you, this is going to be something that you're going to want to do. And if you're joining us from Facebook, I would say you got to come on over to LinkedIn. And if you're joining us from our YouTube channel, I love you. I want you to also come over on LinkedIn, because I truly believe LinkedIn is truly the cornerstone. You can be dynamic on other platforms, but people are going to come over to LinkedIn to see if you are verified, right? If you're really the real person that you are. So my guest speaker today, we've had many conversations. She's always a very popular guest. She has over 20 years of experience, and I think that she is a marketing genius, and she's truly a LinkedIn expert. We're going to take a deep dive. I want you to bring in something nice to drink. I want you to grab your fuzzy bunny slippers, get out your pen, be ready to have some conversations and ask some questions. So without further ado, please give it up for my incredible guest speaker, Miss Cristina Segatto. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday. How you doing, my love?
Hi, Leah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good. All right. I'm doing great. I love the fact that whenever there is some technical glitch, somehow we make it happen. So
that's right. Because I always say champions don't panic, we pivot. And there's always a way. Never get worried. Got to stay as cool as a cucumber. And it turned out to be on my end. So I greatly apologize, Cristina. Listen, I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I want people to lean into this, because when we only show the highlight reels, then people think that it's not real, or they think that it's too hard to achieve. I mess up all the time. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I mess up all the time, but every day I'm striving to get 1% better. So for anyone who doesn't know who you are, Cristina, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're such an expert on LinkedIn.
Well, I had to make it my business to learn the platform. I've been on LinkedIn since 2014, and I tell this story quite often. I went to a job interview. I thought it went well, and then I found out it did in a way, but I did not get the job. And the manager asked me before I left, "Are you on LinkedIn?" I didn't know what LinkedIn was. So I opened that account, and she was, and we're still connected. My first connection, I think, was 6-7 months down the line. I said, "Hey, I have this LinkedIn thing. I wonder, if maybe she might reconsider. There is another position." And I sent a message, and I got the job, which turned out to be a 10-year career with a 2-year break. So because I left the company for a competitor, and then I came back to the company, so that's what it turned out to be. So, that was my official e-commerce career in the United States, although I'd done e-commerce previously. So that's how it started. But the reason why I tell this story is because I immediately learned DMs, they work, right? I immediately learned that's how the platform works. And I didn't think too much about it. Every now and then I posted something, a promotion or an accolade, but I didn't use it the way I use it today. In 2022, I said, well, I want to build my authority. I want to go beyond, my role within an organization. So I started posting and using LinkedIn a different way. And I realized that I didn't want to be just a content creator. Monetizing was in my blood. So since I was spending time here, I had to find a way to monetize it. And to monetize it, you have to learn the platform. So what I do is I take an idea, or maybe there is a business that is already established, and I either, if brand new, monetize it, help somebody monetize it, or if it's already established and it needs to scale, I help somebody scaling them through different mediums. And LinkedIn is one of them. And then there are other ways and other little things that you can add, and you can branch out and really monetize your business. That's what I do. To do that, you have to do that on LinkedIn. You have to understand the platform. You have to understand the current culture, because culture continuously change. And you always also have to understand what is LinkedIn thinking. What is their strategy? Why are they doing what they're doing? Just to get us all panicking and get everybody to go to another platform? Absolutely not. They are fixing something. They're strategizing their own revenue. They're analyzing their own data, and they're making adjustments based on that. So if you are on LinkedIn, using it to for your visibility, to get discovered, by a client, or to find your next opportunity, you gotta understand what's going on, how it works, and what changed, and when it changed, and why it changed, and how you can leverage that.
That's so good. We've got a few people who've joined us, but I'm going to share a story, and I'm going to highlight some of our guest speakers, our guests that have joined us. I actually was on Facebook and promoting my business. And what happened for me was, maybe any of you can relate to this. My friends and family were not supportive, let's just put it that way. And it was not a friendly environment. Okay. So then I discovered this LinkedIn, and I realized nobody I knew was on LinkedIn. And I thought, this is a great opportunity for me to showcase myself without getting all the haters. I figured nobody I knew was on here, so it gave me an opportunity. And really what's happened for me is LinkedIn has become a cornerstone, not just for my business, but I meet so many incredible people. I just met someone, Landis Owens. Like, I feel like he could be one of my best friends. And it's all through LinkedIn. I maybe never would have met him on another platform, because it is more of a professional platform. I want to highlight a few people who've joined us. We have the one and only Miss Christy D. Williams. She is our customer service professional. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. And we have, of course, the one and only Mr. Jay Pascal. He is a storyteller strategist. He has an incredible book, The 12 Laws of Storytelling. I think that's what it is. Put in the comments, Jay, because that's an incredible book. And then we have this, the two Jays are here with us. We have the one and only, I think he just loves Star Wars, Jedi Jay. And I love Jedi Jay because he allowed me to showcase my avatar of Princess Leia. It's pretty cool. You guys got to see it. It's really, really cool. And then we have, of course, the one and only Mr. Felipe Cofino. He puts the HR, the human back into HR, and he actually really inspired me to take the story that me and my precious grandson had created and put it into more of a book format. We actually got them all printed out. He gave them out to all of his kids at school. It was really, really cool, very incredible. So I think that sometimes people think of LinkedIn as just another posting platform. Why do you think, or do you think LinkedIn is maybe something? I think it's a foundation. I don't know. What do you think? And if it is that, why should somebody really put attention into LinkedIn as opposed to just like, it's just another platform. Let me go ahead and put the same reels that I put on anywhere else.
I like the way you put it. The same things I put everywhere else, right? So first of all, when you decide to utilize a platform as, the main entry point or showcase for your business, you really have to understand it and understand what works there and what doesn't. In this case, LinkedIn. If you choose LinkedIn, you can't, cut and paste whatever you're doing on Facebook onto LinkedIn, or whatever you're doing on another platform onto LinkedIn. You could, but then don't go and say, "Oh, the platform doesn't work for me," because when I do something, I do the exact same thing on Facebook, I get different results. When I do the same thing on LinkedIn, I don't get any results. And also, are the results the meaning of the results? Does it are the likes what really matters? Are the impressions what really matters? And do they have the same value that they have on other platforms? That's what we really need to understand. Because not all likes are alike. For example, on a platform like Substack, sure, it's nice to get likes, but you really want the subscribers. And you really want to see your subscribers. So that's the thing. You really have to understand the cultures and what things mean. And also, what are you going to do with that engagement? Even if it's one, are you just going to let it sit? If you just let it sit, then, you feel very unpopular. I only got one engagement and I never had a conversation with this person. On LinkedIn specifically, if you get 2 engagements, and you look at them, you say, okay, I got something in common with this person, or it could be a prospect client, or it could be somebody can collaborate with. Just say so. Just send them a message and say, thank you. This is who I am. This is what I do. Really appreciate that we are connected. So say something. Build that relationship, because LinkedIn is about relationships.
Absolutely. I 1,000% agree with you. I love when people show up and I know who they are. I actually have met them. I've collaborated with them. I've had a coffee chat with them. Like, I've interacted with them, because that means more to me, because I know that they are supporting me. They just didn't randomly show up here. Although I love my random people too, right? We love everybody who comes here. I want to highlight a comment, and then I got a question for you. Jedi J said, treat LinkedIn like a resume. If I can bring it up here. He said it's a great resource for posting your accomplishment. I think that is really, really incredible. But at the same time, it's so much more than that. I think for me, I'll tell you what has happened for me on LinkedIn. It truly has given me an opportunity to find my own voice. I always say the more you speak your mind, the more you grow your mind. And LinkedIn, because I didn't know anybody on here, it gave me an opportunity to really figure out what my voice was, what was resonating with people. And I think that so many times we wait until we are polished to show up, but really you don't get polished not showing up. You're forged through the fire. We got to actually go through that. So one of the things I want to talk about is, we saw the death of the audio rooms. I saw Miss Coral talking about we don't have the audio rooms anymore. You say it's the death of the LinkedIn pop-up room. So tell us about that. I think we got really spoiled on LinkedIn. We could just pop up and show up and people would show up. And You say it's the not only the death of the audio rooms, but it's also the death of the LinkedIn pop-up rooms. Why is that?
Well, you know, first of all, going back to the audio rooms, you know, a lot of people did not like that sudden change, right? Because we get used to it. Like you said, we got spoiled. It was comfortable to be faceless, especially for those that were hosting the audio rooms that were doing so much work behind it. Uh, but at the same time, there must have been, that's what I thought at the very beginning. There must have been a very specific reasons why we cannot do audio anymore, and the main reason was because LinkedIn wanted more engagement and wanted more trust and wanted more things to happen uh, because of this. And they also wanted to moderate and control what was going on. Some of the audio rooms, they were getting out of hand, partially because what happened in an audio room happened in an audio room. It was never recorded. And so it was, let's say it was that. So from, somebody that is trying to build authority, as much as I love the audio room and I built so many relationships out of them, because after the audio room, I actually connected with people. A lot of us, and even me, I didn't always have the time. After the audio room was over, that was it. I had to remember what we discussed if I wanted to make a post about it, and I didn't have anything to reference. Now with the LinkedIn Live, we're doing this today. I can take this exact conversation and keep on talking about it, keep referring to it and posting the link. People will find it. You're streaming on YouTube too, right? So, there is a longer life to the lives. But LinkedIn itself loves the longer life. It is good for them too. So everything that we create here is content that drives traffic to the platform. Content that, because people find it valuable, they decide to opt for certain things. Then they decide to opt for their own services, the premium, the navigator, whatever LinkedIn it is that has to offer. And LinkedIn realized they needed that dwell time. They needed people to actually listen, to actually read. So on June 22nd, I believe, we can no longer go live on the spot. We have to schedule the event. I think it's not going to affect a lot of people because most people do schedule the event. But why do they do that? Because they want that event to sit there with the description and they want people to engage. And we want that too. I mean, it benefits us. It does benefit us to invite more people to the event, to have a casual conversation and say, you know what, I'm actually going live in a week discussing this very topic. So it does benefit us. So I don't think this is going to be, necessarily a huge change or a disadvantage. It just is asking. So what is prompting us, prompting all of us to do is that if you're going to do events, do good events, plan them, curate them, set a date and invite as many people as possible. If you're just going live, just to have an evening chit chat, that's not LinkedIn is not the place for it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I always say I don't always have a PowerPoint, but I always have powerful points, right? I am here to bring engagement, to bring value. That's why I do this, is to bring value. Jedi J had a great question. Let me see if I can bring it up here. He was asking, he said, talk about AI. Let's see.
Okay.
AI and LinkedIn. How is AI impacting LinkedIn, or is it impacting LinkedIn?
Yes, it has impacted LinkedIn. I think we went from 1% creators to about 12 to 15% now. So definitely more people are posting on LinkedIn because it's easier, with AI. However, probably what he's referring to is lately we've been inundated by all these posts about AI slop. And it's been almost a trend, because if you talked about AI slop, you got more impressions. So I got sick of it. I decided not to participate in the trend. So it has impacted LinkedIn. And another one of the moves that is being made, there's been a lot of posts lately saying LinkedIn is fighting all these, AI posts, etc. But what they're fighting is not the use of AI, because everybody uses AI now to polish your content, to brainstorm, to create graphics. It's not what's being banned. What's being banned is, irrelevant, repetitive content that somebody created without even thinking. So that's the thing. The hope is that they're able to distinguish between the posts that are, saying, "Hey, AI, make a post about the financial strategist," and I'll go post it, right? The hope is that instead somebody is actually going using an AI platform, writing what they want to express, and then having it cleaned up. And the hope is that the large language models can sift through that, and I think they can. But like with all good things, it takes time. So it takes time. This change that everybody's talking about again, 360 brew, like if it just happened, um, it happened about a year and a half ago that we shifted towards this change, and only now we're beginning to see the results.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing I would encourage people to lean into. LinkedIn isn't do a post, go viral, make a fortune. That is, it doesn't matter if you go viral on LinkedIn here. It's not going to monetize that way. It really is posting over time, and you want it to be that way so that you get many opportunities to build your authority and build your credibility. And one thing you really pushed me in the deep end on was creating my LinkedIn newsletter. You'd been telling me that for a while. I resisted it. I didn't want to do it. I'm now on issue 31. Boop, boop. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So, how about what does LinkedIn do? Or let's answer this question by Jay, actually, because I have another question. But let's see. He says, how is it we can balance LinkedIn as well as other platforms when it comes to LinkedIn events? How is it one can balance LinkedIn as well as other platforms when it comes to LinkedIn events? I know what I do is I actually post it on other platforms, but I encourage people to come over to LinkedIn, right? I posted a video on Facebook, but I said, come and join us over here on LinkedIn. So I don't know, how would you answer this question, Cristina?
So first of all, I'm not a LinkedIn event expert, but I know enough to be dangerous. So it depends on what your goals are. A lot of people are, multi-streaming, just like you said, and that's, good way to leverage. Lately, I noticed something that I think I'm going to try myself. I noticed that on Substack, you can go live and simultaneously stream directly from Substack onto LinkedIn and YouTube, I believe. You just have to link your account. But the thing is, when you do an event, when even whether you're a guest or you are, you do your own, it shouldn't be one and done, right? It should be, I discuss this topic, and then you should find other formats to keep bringing that topic up. And you should use, are we live? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. I think I'm losing. So everything is fine on your end?
everything's perfect. We hear you, we see you.
Okay, perfect. So you should utilize that opportunity of a recording, as something that you can refer to. If you're having conversations about the very topic with somebody, then you should definitely say, "I did this event last week. Here's the recording." Or if somebody is discussing potentially working with you, that's the best possible opportunity for them to understand your style, your personality, and who you are. So that's a way to leverage it. And on cross functionality, put it on more than one platform. It's something that you can do. I think, both Restream and StreamYard offer you the opportunity to multi-stream to more than one platform. And now I just noticed that you can do the same within Substack. So, it's a precious mini, our discussion. It's a precious sample of who you are and your work. So you should utilize it as much as possible, as possible. But also, you should stay within context. You should stay on topic. If, for example, I brought this topic to you, Leah, but this is a topic that I've been discussing for a couple of months. So I wouldn't, that's exactly what I do when I collaborate with others or I go live with others. I make sure that those are my core pillar topics and they align completely with my content, with my profile and everything that I do. That's the way to leverage it.
Yeah, that is so, so good. And what I find is that doing different events and things on LinkedIn, when I meet people, it's like a continued conversation. It doesn't feel like they're just getting to know me. And I would say also the bonus is for me, and there's many bonuses to me about being on LinkedIn that is different from other platforms. But one of the bonuses, you're going to find that this community is just naturally very supportive. You're not going to post something that's a little, maybe the lighting is terrible and people are going to send you a bunch of messages like you messed this up and do this again. People really allow you to have that grace and finding your voice and refining yourself. And they're very encouraging. That's what I found. It's a very supportive, naturally supportive community. One thing I would love for you to address, because I know nothing about this. When I saw this in the comments, I said, okay, I got to understand what this is. Becoming the answer. You say becoming the answer, a practical introduction to AEO. And why is discoverability replacing the traditional search strategies? What is AEO? Help us to unpack that. Now, remember, we're not at your level. Talk to me like I'm 5 years old, because I don't even know anything about this AEO. I got to tell you, it's not even in my wheelhouse. So help us to understand what you mean by this.
Yes. So AEO means answer engine optimization, just like SEO meant search engine optimization. So basically, what it is that now we are not simply focusing on keywords, we are focusing on answering questions. So the reason why everybody went heavy on SEO, especially when they're having a website and they have a web developer and all that, is because the idea was that if you used the right marketable keywords, the one that perhaps they were not necessarily the most popular, but the one that would help you niche down what you're doing. When somebody was doing a search, the link to your website or your landing pages, should come up, right? But this is a shift. The shift from SEO to AEO is still happening. SEO is not gone, but now there is also AEO. So what's happening is when people go on a search engine or on a chat box and ask a question, the chat box, and now even Google, because Google responds with their own AI, they provide an answer. And sometimes the site, a particular page or an expert or somebody that is saying that, they actually do. They have a little reference next to it. So what we want to do when we create our content, we want to provide those answers that our ideal clients will be asking for. So we have to put ourselves in the mind, in the head of our ideal clients and think, what are they asking? And perhaps we don't have to think, oh, I wonder what they're asking. We know what they're asking because we talk to them. We receive messages from them. We get bookings from them with specific questions. So we know what our ideal clients are asking. When we meet with a client and we actually coaching them providing our services to them, they have all kinds of questions. Those are the questions that we have to answer. If we want to do more research, we can actually go and extrapolate more data and go to sites like Reddit, or just use AI itself to see what are the most asked questions on this particular topic, and try to provide those answers. But how do you do that? You have to weave all that into your content and into your profile. So, and you have to do it consistently. Everything that you do on LinkedIn takes at least 90 days. If you update your profile and then your profile is the category tree of all of your topics, you have to be consistent with those topics for at least 90 days to see some results, especially if you're starting out. So when you create a newsletter, when you do a post, when you're reposting an event, you have to be a little strategic and use that specific answer that you already know, that okay, I'm always going to answer this. What is AEO? Why AEO is important, right? That's what I'm doing right now, explaining AEO. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? And why everybody should do that with their own particular subject matter? Because you will get indexed. That's exactly it. You will get indexed, and there is a huge advantage in being LinkedIn users. LinkedIn has been aware of this since they started making these changes. That's exactly the reason behind. That's a reason why they're starting doing these changes. LinkedIn started with, improving their platform, even if we thought, wow, what kind of improvement is that? I'm getting less views, less impressions. My network doesn't see me. But they did that because they realized that the large language models, the ones that filter through all your content, just like a line editor, they're looking for specific sentences. They're looking for specific patterns. So, for example, starting with your profile, if your profile is completely misaligned with what you're posting, well, then yes, you gain less visibility. If your profile is completely aligned with what you're posting within LinkedIn, you gain more visibility. But outside LinkedIn, this is happening not just within LinkedIn. This is happening outside LinkedIn. If you look for your work, some of your books, if you have books, your name, you see that the first thing you see if you created a copious amount of content on LinkedIn is LinkedIn results. If you did articles, they come up. If you did newsletters, they're coming up. If you ask AI, without being logged in, what is name known for, most of the work that comes up is the one that is recorded through this LinkedIn content that we create, and not necessarily posts, but mostly the long format content and the events. So that's why LinkedIn shifted this way, and they hinted on this for a long time. If you remember the collaborative articles, right? They were trying to create, articles and get a good amount of content. Didn't work out that well, and they stopped it, and they just focused on newsletters and articles, original newsletters and articles. But they themselves, they have LinkedIn News. They are shifting, or they've been shifting for a while towards being a media platform. So they have LinkedIn News with specific private premium reserve LinkedIn events and specific articles highlighting some experts and top voices, or not, depending on they decide. You don't have to necessarily be a top voice to be highlighted, but they highlight specific topics. And so this is the thing, that if you really look to the big picture, you see, okay, LinkedIn themselves, they're telling us to have a better profile. They're telling us to collaborate at the beginning, when it was happening, collaborate on articles or write newsletters. But the reason behind it is that they wanted more content to be discoverable outside the platform, so that more people will come to the platform. And also their services that they're selling. LinkedIn Navigator itself it was not going to be any good to anyone if the data in the profile was not accurate. So if somebody didn't update their profile in a decade and they were not really active users and all they were doing was posting, about what they had for breakfast, and uh, instead of posting about their subject of expertise, that was not a good result, for somebody that was using LinkedIn Navigator and just saying that I need a business owner in this industry, because the business owners in that industry might not be in that industry anymore. They didn't update their profile. Maybe they're retired, and they're posting, just other things. So it was imperative that the content created on the platform was current. The people utilizing it, they were really engaging and utilizing it. The reason why they're gauging engagement is because they want to know that their data is accurate, that people are there, that people are using it and they're serious.
There's so much gold in there. I know you're going to bring the golden nuggets. And what the connection I'm making is it's really going to filter out the spam or the fake profiles, because you might be able to post something one time on a highlight reel and get to ChatGTP and post something that sounds very articulate and genuine. But you can't do that on the fly. You can't do that every single day. You can't generate more content and newsletters and all of these other things if you're not really the expert in your field. I want to highlight a few more people who've joined us. I want to welcome our queen herself. She hosts Mind Over Matter Mondays and our Think and Grow Rich Fridays. If you don't know her, you got to get to know her. If you're looking to upgrade your mind shift, I call it your mind shift, you got to get together with a one and only Queen Leslie. And I want to welcome Meryl. I just adore Meryl. He is our cheerleader here on LinkedIn. He brings so much value in the comments. He doesn't just say comments, he brings in other people into the comments, and I appreciate that. And Meryl, this is especially for you. You see this butterfly on my microphone? I got this idea from the one and only Miss Misha, and she has an infrared vision. She has a beautiful red rose on her microphone. I thought, you know what? That is so brilliant. I love that branding idea. Also, the great Ms. Lisa Favec has joined us. She is our menopause mentor and really our dietitian. I've learned so much from her. It's not just about what the biggest thing I've learned from her, it's not just about what we eat, but it's how we pair things, because certain vitamins need other nutrients. She's brilliant. And then also, I want to welcome, I cannot believe, all the way from Thailand. It's 1:00 in the morning there, Miss Kimberly Wells. We know her affectionately as Coach K. She says AEO is new to me. So I love that it's the answer engine. I'm going to just put it that way in my head. It's the answer. I want to be the answer to my clients' biggest problems, and it gives me an opportunity to showcase. Is that on point, Cristina?
Yes.
Okay. I love it, love it, love it. Whew, I think we got a couple more people. Chris, thank you for joining us, brother Chris. His entire message is about saving teen lives and bringing awareness to distracted driving. I mean, he's brought so much awareness into me, because we can all get seduced by that distracted driving. So thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your story and sharing your whole heart. And we have my good friend, Jason Wilson. Great to see you, my friend. It's always good to see you. He teaches people how to have a podcast. If you want to have a podcast, get to know my good friend, Jason Wilson. So you're saying that questions are the answers is what I feel like. We got to know the questions that our biggest pain points, our ideal client is asking, and we got to be the answer. So what do you think is the one element, or is there one element that most people who are posting on LinkedIn, they're the expert, they know what they're doing, they've got a profile, they've got all these things going on. What do you think is the biggest blind spot that you find most people are missing here on LinkedIn?
The biggest fault in their posting. Well, you have to think long term. So trying to post something because you're gonna get engagement because it is a personal story, although I love posting personal story myself, or those click and bait things because a lot of people just participate, is really not doing you any good long term. So that's the thing. And even if your engagement on some post, people say they're flopping. I only got this many likes, right? It doesn't mean that they're flopping, because people are still seeing them. People might not just be engaging. And if you want to give your post or your newsletter, a longer life, what you have to do is being consistent. So make sure that the first part of your post, it's on topic. It spells out exactly what the post is about. Also, if it's a post, I would think just, for the most part, let's keep it, short. Because if you're somebody that loves writing, then you're wasting opportunities there. Just don't do a long post. Start your newsletter, and then the newsletter will let you post the summary anyway. So that would be a mini post plus the bigger article. So if you like to write a lot, and like I do, definitely start a newsletter. Use that format, because another thing that it's happening there, everybody's I say complaining about the visibility, the algorithm,
Right.
but we are missing out on some great LinkedIn tool. The newsletter, for example, will send every time it comes out, will send emails on your subscribers inbox, and emails to those who are not subscribed, but based on the relevancy of the newsletter to their particular interest. You'll notice that you might have 1,000 subscribers, but perhaps your newsletter only gets 750 emails sent, and not all to your first degree connections. That's a good thing. First of all, very few platforms do that, bypassing completely the algorithm. But that's a good thing, because they're sending it to those people that are active. They're sending it to those people that not only subscribe, but they are engaging, and people that have engaged with content similar to yours. So they're doing it by relevancy. So that's definitely a missed opportunity, having that there. And also within the body of the newsletter, you have other opportunities, posting your events in there with a link, or, posting your calendar in there. So if somebody reads it, is really into the article, and say, I'm going to give it a go, I'm going to book a call, the link, it's right there. And you can advertise other things if you have a website, something going on, a book coming out. So you can utilize it as it's your newsletter. It's a way that you can communicate with your ideal clients. And also, if your newsletter is very much on topic, those that are going to subscribe, they're raising their hands. They're saying, I'm interested in this. So what a better way to filter your followers, your connections by interest. Because we all know we might have 10,000 followers, but they're not all actives, and they're not all completely interested exactly in working with us or consuming our content with the purpose of doing business with us. We know that. So this is a great way to filter and to start those conversations. I often send messages to my subscribers and ask them questions, what are you working on these days? What's going on? To begin having those conversations, to nurture those conversations. Because otherwise, there is no point to it. The whole reason why it exists is to start to become context, to be the catalyst of something, an opportunity for somebody to get support, because I do share a lot of tips and how to in my newsletter, and an opportunity for my business and what my business does to be discovered and being hired.
Yeah, that's so true. And one of the things that I really love is when I send out my LinkedIn newsletter, I used to send it out on Monday morning, but then I accidentally sent it on Sunday because I knew I wasn't going to be available. And I saw that the open rate increased dramatically. Like I went from 14% to like 18 or 19%. So then it taught me, okay, I got to start dropping my newsletter on Sunday. And now watching how it's kind of evolving, and watching that the engagement's increasing. So it's not, I think that's where, and maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it seems like LinkedIn is more of a puzzle, like a Rubik's cube. You got to kind of, work with it. And it's not just one thing, it is bringing other elements together to kind of get the combination. Would you agree with that, Christina?
I completely do. It's never just one thing. So that's why it is so important, if you're a coach, consultant, business owner of any kind, and you are on this platform, it is so important to realize that these are the tools, this is how they work, this is what they do, and really try them all and get the right combination together and keep referencing one another. You right now we're using the live. On my newsletter, I referenced that this live happened, and we talked about this topic. If I do a poll, I most likely will ask questions about, are you using AEO in your business? Are you aligning the content of your website with the content of that you have on LinkedIn or another platform? Is what it says in the can consistently what it says on every can, of the same sauce, right? So that's the thing. That's exactly it. If you are selling, just a can. Let's think about it. We can. If you're selling a can of preserves through different mediums, different supermarkets, um, perhaps under their sub brand, are the ingredients all going to be the same? Are people gonna know, okay, that's what this is for, or it's gonna look completely different and they're not gonna realize what it is? So if we create that type of context, then we seamlessly actually integrate any other social media that we might be using besides LinkedIn without having to copy and paste. Your style might be completely different on another platform, but as long as your answers, you're still answering the same questions, even if you use a slightly different format, your authority will surface. And so something that we need to be really aware of is that the way people search is changing. The way people engage is changing. Even if they're searching the same way they used to, going to the Google browsers, we are prompted to ask for more. Immediately the i chat box comes out, and the i chat box is asking you to engage on the topic, to ask more questions. Do you want it this way? Do you want it that way? Did you mean this? Did you mean that? They're collecting data. Just like when you used to do, and it still happens, when you do a search on Google and you search for something, it tells you people are also searching this. People are also asking this. Did you mean this, by the way? So all the data is being collected for so long. We some we say we some we say AI. It's all these fake posts and all these. Yeah, there are a lot of those. By people that they just discovered, they're playing with it, and they're producing content, and they have maybe different agendas. Who knows? There is a lot of bad posts out there, but at the same time, all these has a bigger purpose. It always had a bigger purpose, and the ultimate purpose is engagement. The ultimate purpose is people going in, utilizing whatever product, whatever platform, and ultimately it becomes a transaction. So the bigger picture is the way we utilize searches, the way we do searches, the way we asking questions changed. But in the end, it was always written in the cards, because all this change is only being driven by our own questions, but what we've been asking.
Golden nuggets, explosion. I want to welcome Miss Nick Angai Galindo. She says, happy birthday, fellow Gemini. Is it your birthday, Christina?
Thank you, Nicole. It was on the 5th, and Nicole too. Happy birthday back to you.
I know, I saw that. Like, that's why you two are some of my favorite people. Absolutely adore both of you. And Nick is the brilliance behind guiding brilliant writers. Sorry, I got a little tongue tied there. And she's having her post party because she's dropping her new book. We're more than our diagnosis. I think it's edition 2, if I'm not correct. Miss Nicole, put in the chat. Remember, this is your opportunity not just to come here and learn about the speaker, but also to network with each other and share what you're doing and what you're up to. So, Nick, if you wouldn't mind putting your parties that are coming up. I know I was on one of your watch parties, I think it was yesterday, and got to hear from some of your incredible authors. You always bring out so much brilliance you are truly guiding those brilliant writers. I also want to highlight a comment, if I could, back to Coral from across the pond. She said some people, it's back in the comments, but she said some people don't want to get to know you. They just want to spam. What would you say to people who are still doing that? What do they call it? That pitch slapping, where they're just sending you things in the comments. What would you say to somebody who's still doing that? If there's anybody, I don't believe anybody on here is doing it, but maybe somebody who watches a replay, or maybe somebody on Facebook comes on over to LinkedIn and they think that they can just pitch slap us all. What would you say to that?
Yeah, so there is such thing called tact, right? So even if your ultimate goal is to promote and sell your services, you cannot just go with, "Hey, we just met. This is what I do. Buy my services. This is my pitch." Even if you do it with the utmost intention, it never lands well. It creates this kind of reaction. It's a pitch slap. So, quit doing it, because it just doesn't work. I mean, and it's 1 in a million. You have to send so many emails like that to, thousands to get a couple of 2 to 3% result, right? So I call that old school marketing. Of course, I gotta tell you, people do it because that 3% is still money and it works. But if you are a fairly small to medium sized business, you definitely want to stay away from it. I often say it takes about 5 to 8 touch points to understand if somebody's giving you permission to actually say, listen, this is the service that I offer. I think I can help you. So it takes, that long. And if you have 5 to 8 touch points, chances are you don't even have to say it. The person will actually say, I'm having this problem. And then it is the good opportunity to say, I do audits, where we discuss your particular problem and we can see if we have a solution. So that's the way to do it, not just to do that, but about getting to know somebody, right? So this is LinkedIn. This is a platform where people discuss business, job opportunities, business opportunities, and they're networking with that in mind. So chances are that the person you're exchanging messages with, they're making a living, and LinkedIn is one of the places where they show up to build that authority and that presence. So to book, calls with them and having conversations with them about the fact that, we're both from the Midwest. Or I had people, I thought I was on any show the other day and we were talking about this. I had people booking calls with me because they liked my accent. And I'm like, well, thank you, but that's not a good use of both our times, right? So if you're engaging with somebody, if you have to understand that it goes both ways. The business owners, the consultant, the coach, they need to know that not everybody is here to do business, and so find out, why are you at this event? Why did you subscribe to my newsletter? Are you working on something specific? Let them tell you. If they don't answer, it means they want nothing to do with it, and just leave it alone, right? But if they engage and answer and they're actually sharing with you something that they're navigating, then it's an opportunity to help first. And then build a relationship and it might become something. So that's exactly it. But at the same time, most people, most business owners on LinkedIn, they're not here because they want to necessarily build an off the wall friendship. You end up building friendships and relationships, but there is some context. So, for example, I built a relationship with Leah. It doesn't mean that we are doing transactions, but it was, mutual respect as business owners and people that, they're going through the motions of building this authority using the platform. And doesn't mean that we have to be each other's clients. It just means that, we can exchange tips, things we find out. I go often to Leah's events. So there is also those things that as collaborations for, relationship that foster collaborations and growth opportunity for both parties. But we have to stay away of, just having a night chat, like sometimes happens on Facebook and other platform, because this is not the platform for it. But all means, if two people meet on LinkedIn and that's what they do, it means that they found each other through context and it's working for them. But not everybody's here to do that.
Yeah, and I will confess that I'm a reformed pitch slapper. When I started on LinkedIn, I would send 100 messages a day, 500 messages a week. Do you know how much time that takes? No AI or anything like that. I mean, I was spending about 3 hours a day. And probably some of you have a pitch slap from me. And if you do, I greatly apologize. Okay. I've learned since then. But that's what we were taught to do, right? Just throw it up against the wall. And some of it did work. But, now we've evolved. Okay. We've evolved and we understand. But some people kind of still default back to that. I want to highlight this comment by Jedi J and see if you have anything you'd like to add to it. He says, when it comes to network connections, I would include a note saying who you are, where you're from, and how did we meet? Have we been in a room together? Would you have anything to add to that, Cristina?
I do that sometimes, but not with everybody, because one thing that I always say is that you have to spend 75% of your time on things that are gonna be generating revenue for your business. If you want to succeed, even if especially if you want to succeed, monetizing LinkedIn and leveraging LinkedIn as a platform. So the first thing that I would like to say is only connect if there is context. If you see something, doesn't mean only connect if you see somebody that buys from you. It means, okay, we are on the same field. We have mutual connections. We are discussing similar topics. That's good. That's not necessarily competition. If you engage with each other and if you comment on each other things, you're sharing visibility and you're building context together on a topic. So that's good. But don't connect for the sake of adding another number.
Right.
And if you have to ask somebody, how did we meet? Every time, that's a little bit, time consuming unless you have it on auto. And also it might deter, some people that, they want to go and send a DM right away. They would just wanted to connect and they might not want to do that. So I found that a lot of people that are using the platform, there's a lot of newcomers to the platform. I'll say that. And I noticed that because I see a lot of the tactics that are on Instagram and Facebook coming into the platform, and then posts by them saying it doesn't work in here, it's not good here, and all that. So there's a lot of newcomers to the platform that they might not necessarily understand how relationships are built here. So just take it easy. Somebody connects with you, I would just say, hey, thank you. Looking forward to connect with your with your content, if it's appropriate, if you think I should do that. But if somebody connected, sends you connection, so if somebody sends you a connection request and is completely two worlds apart, just don't accept all connections. That's what I would say. It's not that you're rude, it's not that you're calculating. We talk about feed. Feed takes into account everything, who you're sending the DMs to, if they're replying, if you click on somebody's post, if you liked it, even if you didn't like it, if you just sat there and looked at it because you were having, cereal staring at your computer, that's dwell time. So all that happens, and all that is feeding our feed. So everybody that says, I don't like what I see on my feed, you have to actively curate it. If you don't like what you're seeing, click those three dots, say not interested, not interested, not interested, don't show this ad. If it says why it's political, is this, give all this feedback every time you have a chance. Take 5 minutes to do that, and you'll see a better feed. And if you see a post that is ridiculous, that is total clickbait, asking you to add some numbers that doesn't make any sense, and then you attempted to write a comment and say, this post is ridiculous, it's pure clickbait, don't even do that, because you'll get more of those posts. And if you repost something because you're thinking you're doing a good deed for reach, really be careful what it is that you're reposting. Don't just repost for the sake of reposting. Give your 2 cents worth, trying to put your own personal brand of humanity into the repost. Because the second you repost something, the second you engage with something, you'll get similar things coming to you by different creators. That's how it works. So we have to be really careful.
That is brilliant. It absolutely is. And if you're still joining us, we're still live because we started a few minutes late. So I want to make sure to give Cristina her full time. And this has been such a good conversation. If you're still here, let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know where you're coming live from. Let us know, are you joining us on Facebook? Are you joining us from my YouTube channel? Where are you joining us? Where are you residing? And let us know you're part of Team Live. I want to ask you a question. This is a personal question for me. So I've been doing more unconnecting than I have been connecting these days, right? Because I'm not really looking for more connections. I want to have more of the right audience, meaning, is it somebody I could collaborate? Is it somebody who I think would be in the right network of people that I could meet? Is this somebody who could be a potential guest speaker on my show? Like, I'm looking for many different things. And if people say things to me like, this is not in alignment with me, or, I don't know, when they say something that is not positive, then I just immediately disengage. I just say off with their heads. I unfollow them. I unconnect with them. I don't know. Is that wrong? I mean, I'm being transparent.
I block them.
There you go.
I blocked it.
It's like, why are we connected if you don't want anything to do with me? Are you just trying to get, build your network? So I definitely do.
Yeah. And also, so here's the thing. It's about preserving your energy. And, some of my LinkedIn friends say, oh, Cristina, you're harsh. But it's really about preserving your energy. I had recently, I think I made a mini post about it to somebody that they connected with me. They asked me a question about, specifically, I think it was newsletters. And then after I answered the question, they proceeded, debating things and being quite negative and frankly, almost offensive. It was really an awful conversation. And because they asked the question, I answered why I enjoyed and liked LinkedIn newsletters. And because they didn't, they thought I was trying to tell them to stop doing newsletters where they were doing them and come over here, which is not what I was doing it, because I do newsletters on both places. But anyhow, and she kept going on and on and on and on and on and on. So after a while, I said, it's 9:00 in the evening. I was polite. I answered this person's questions. Know that it was no pitch slap, just answering the generic questions. Why am I keeping on this conversation with this person that doesn't want to stop? So the best way to do it is not to give if you notice that somebody's like that, don't give them any opportunity to look at any more of your content, commenting on your content, and just sending you messages. So that's the thing. The best way to do it is clicking and blocking the connection, and you will
Well,
no longer be visible to them.
I think some people are just bored. They don't have a life. They have nothing else to do because we are all busy here. Right? We're super, super busy. I love you, Meryl. I knew you're going to pick that up. Off with their heads. That's right. I just say off with their heads. Listen, why did you connect with me if you want nothing to do with me? You're not going to even say hello to me. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? We got to protect our energy. Well, Cristina, this has been so dynamic, and I knew you were going to bring your golden nuggets. In closing, you made a lot of new fans and friends. How can people reach you? Where can they find you if they want to work with you and learn more about you?
So my main platform is LinkedIn, although I'm also on Substack, and I'm going to try to be more present there. So that's my main platform. Just send me a DM there. I have a booking link that later on I will go back to the event and share that, and that's how it starts with a conversation. So that's the thing. It starts with a conversation. If you're interested in finding out if I can actually support you, it starts with that. It's a free 20 minutes audit, and that's how it starts. Because you have to see if there is alignment, even chemistry between two people, if you do want to work together. So that's a good opportunity to find out if I might be the right person for you. And also, if I can really help you, one thing that I tell people that work with me is that if you're telling me what you want to do, and you're saying something specific, right? And you're thinking that this is okay. I'm gonna work with you, and you're gonna get it all done for me, and in 1 month I'm gonna be, a gazillionaire. That's not how it works. The way it works is that when somebody works with me, there are mutual assignments. There are some deliverables on my end and some deliverables on their hand. If you really want to learn how to do this, if you really want to learn how to utilize the platform to your advantage, how to monetize and how to build those relationships, you have to have your hands on it. You have to be the one that does the execution part. So the way it works is one-on-one goals, executions, review of the results, rinse and repeat.
There you go. Yes, it's a rinse and repeat part, right? You can't just show up one time. Well, you can. That's not going to get any traction. You got to rinse and repeat and continue to bring value, answer questions, and show up as authentically who you are. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm going to go ahead and put you backstage. They were having a party back there. I'm not sure what's going on back there, but I know you're going to have a good time. Don't go away, though. Don't go away. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been an incredible conversation. If you got value today, put a 1 in the chat. Invite somebody to watch the replay, because this is something that we all need to learn about. We got to lean into social media is changing. And I made this post today, and I just think it's really relevant, is that it doesn't matter what we're doing. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're a school teacher. It doesn't matter what you're doing and who you are. You got to show up on social media. And in my humble opinion, you got to show up on LinkedIn. This is a place to be. I think that all other platforms are going to revolve around LinkedIn. That just could be me, my thinking, but let me know what you think. Share this with somebody, invite people. Remember, I'm here every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I just truly believe if you're here, it's because you're the one in your family that's supposed to build your family dynasty. I'm the dynasty builder. Would you like to build your family dynasty? It doesn't matter where you started. All that matters is where you're going. And if you didn't come from a wealthy family, that is not your fault. But we got to build a wealthy family, and a wealthy family should come from us. So I'm going to ask you a question. Who's tied to your red wagon? Who is secretly hoping that you win, hoping that you do change your family last name forever? Somebody is secretly cheering for you, and they want you to win. Let's have a conversation about it. I love to get to know you. I want to know what your vision is. Listen, this is 2026. It is our year to come out of the shadows and get in the mix. Get in the comments. Let people know who you are. Shout yourself out, because sometimes you got to rah-rah yourself. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Great to see you. I adore you, Team Live, and I love you so much, Team Replay. Thank you so much, everybody. And remember, your wealth today is your dynasty tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody.
Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Introducing Leah Garcia's Wall of Wealth, the ultimate one-page financial plan to protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth with confidence. Whether you're a business owner or just starting your financial journey, this step-by-step guide gives you the tools to create a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't wait to transform your money mind shift. Download your free copy today at leahgarcia.io and start building your wall of wealth now.